Hello, everybody. This is Kyrix, and we're here for the Overcooked 2 after-game review. Yeah, I kind of rhymed that on purpose. This is actually being recorded a couple minutes after the Overcooked 1 after-game review, and there will be a lot of overlap between the two games, because as I stated there, they do blur very heavily together in my head. There are some quality of life changes for Overcooked 2 that weren't present in Overcooked 1, and there are differences. The game mechanically is mostly the same. As I mentioned, Overcooked 2 adds the addition of a throw button. You could kind of throw in the original game where if you ran and hit the drop button, physics would carry it forward. In this, you can flat out huck things to each other. It is a game mechanic, and there are levels where you have to do it. At least if you want to beat the game with any kind of finesse. Story mode this time, rather than, spaghetti monster is ending the world, this is the king gets the Necronomicon, I love that name, and accidentally animates the unbred, and you have to feed them because they're trying to tear the castle down. New feature in this is the Kevin levels. Kevin the dog has his own special levels, which I think they usually require, like, burritos or something. They tend to have things before you'd normally get them if you went chronologically. I think they're hidden locked levels, like you have to meet certain requirements score-wise before they'll open up, because I'm missing one on my playthrough. And they are much more difficult, like you need... Like, for this level I need 120 points, this level I need 80, for this Kevin level, 590, kind of a thing. It's like triple what you would normally need for a level in that area. And the Kevin levels do add quite a bit of challenge. They're frustrating, they make you want to tear your head out. Team 4-star, notably just fucking... You could hear the cringe in their voice because they knew their buttholes were going to be devastated by this Kevin level. So the throw mechanic's new, the Kevin levels are new. Dynamic levels. I saw it advertised as that, and it really fits. There are several levels that will change as you play them. One that comes to mind is you're cooking in a hot air balloon, and as you're cooking, there's this huge storm, and it just gets worse and worse, and then you fall out of the sky and land in a sushi restaurant. You go from making salads to making sushi. It's like, well, fuck it, we're sushi chefs now. There's another level, and I fucked up because I didn't react to this fast enough because I thought it was going to change, where you had like these little lava levels, and then there was this weird time warp, and you could still move around in the warp, and I didn't, for the most part, because I'm thinking any minute now it's going to unwarp and drop me in the lava. And when it's done, you end up in a whole new kitchen. And stuff like that's just kind of cool. It's frustrating for the first time, but it's cool. There's a ton more chefs. I'm pretty sure every chef from before is back, but there's also a lot of new chefs, and the new chefs are pretty cool. There are new things to make, like the old favorites are back. Salads are back, soup is back, pizza's back, with a couple more toppings. Hamburgers are back, but now you have cheeseburgers as well. Burritos are back. Sushi's back. Spring rolls, that kind of thing. Those meals are all back. New stuff includes pancakes and cakes. Fish and chips are back. Deep fryer shit. And as before, the game is better with multiple people, but this game is a lot easier if you're playing one player like I did. Like, I 3-starred almost every map first try. To the point where it's like, I even abandoned my 2-star rule because I didn't need the stars, and the game was just that easy. It's like, if this level's hard enough, I'm not going to focus on it, I'm just going to keep going. And unlike the first game, because the first game had a feature where you'd beat the last level, and then you had to go and beat a 7th level on each thing, or a special secret world at the end of each world, and then you fought the boss. And I was expecting this game to do something similar, only to abruptly find myself in the final map, and I didn't realize it until I realized, oh my god, I've got to get 1,200 points or something. I'm like, am I in the final stage? Sure enough, final stage. And when I say easier, this game had like a 21-minute timer compared to the 15 minutes of the first game, and I'm thinking, this is going to be rough. I finished with like 8 minutes on the clock. So I can only hope that the difficulty ramps up as you play longer, or as you play with more people. There is an added optional thing after you beat the game where you can 4-star each map, get a 4th star. There are multiple DLCs for this game, like 5 or 6 of them, and they are paid DLCs, unlike the first one, which had a freebie. So there is a lot more replay value to this, and the dynamic maps make it a lot of fun. There's also challenges where it's just basically see how many you can go, and practices where if you just want to make something for funsies. Like, I went in and just made pizzas, because pizzas were fun for me. To the point where I would have like 6 fully made pizzas, and it's just, okay, oven, plate, oven, plate, you know? And once I got bored of that, I just stopped. So it's kind of fun, because in those levels, all the timers are off. There's no map timer, there's no order timer, just make it when you get to it. So if you ever wanted to see what a kitchen would look like, where you had like all the soups prepared, or a whole bunch of hamburgers just ready, and just turned them in all at once, practice mode. There are a lot of chefs, like almost every level, you're unlocking a new chef. My gator chef is in there, I love him. So there's more animal chefs, there's a couple people chefs. Just a fun game. I mentioned in the Overcooked 1 thing that... Oh, what was it? The pricing thing. I think the game goes for about $20, or if you have PlayStation Now, like I do, it's free. You just pay the $9.99 a month for PlayStation Now. It's one of the games. You're good. You gotta get the DLC on your own, but you got the game. This is one of those games where I do think it is worth paying the $20 for. I mean, if you can get it cheaper, get it cheaper. But there is enough new stuff in this that you can pay $20 and not feel even remotely ripped off. And unlike Overcooked 1, where it's like the more friends you have, the more I recommend the game, I just recommend this game. Because as I mentioned, it's easy enough to play with one person. You know, you can have a lot of fun one-playering this game. Especially if you're a challenge person, once you beat the game and get that 4th star, it requires absurdly high points, but it's something to shoot for, you know? As for the whole innovation thing, which I briefly touched on before, there's really not a whole lot to differentiate this. Well, there's a lot. There's not a whole lot innovation-wise to differentiate this from Overcooked 1. It is a sequel, you know? When you get a sequel, there's usually not a radical departure from the previous game unless something went wrong. Unless you're like 4 games in and the 3rd game didn't sell as well, then you make the radical departure. You know? Like when we get to Overcooked 9 and Overcooked 8 sold like crap, Overcooked 9's not going to look like Overcooked 8, you know what I mean? I did mention in the credits, I really want an Overcooked 3. I will play it. I'll probably buy it if I can't get it for free somehow. But here's the thing, I did not mention, and I really should have. I'm mentioning it here. I don't remember if I caught it on my recording, but when you fire up Overcooked 1 and 2, the first thing you see before anything else is a little disclaimer that says, basically, use our footage however you like. You know, use your stills, use voices, use recordings. This is a game where the owner said, yeah, let's play the shit out of this. We don't care. We're not going to copyright strike you, nothing. Play our game, show people playing our game. So if you're a Let's Player and you want to monetize and you don't want to get struck with that hammer, this is a game. This is a good game. Especially if you've got a collab channel. So my recommendation of Overcooked 1 was conditional. I do love the game. It's not as good as 2. In most cases, there are a couple cases where it is. Like, a couple of the maps are just better. But I, flatly across the board, recommend Overcooked 2 if you're any kind of a fan of this sort of game. If you're just a person who likes a challenge, go for it. If you've got a lot of friends, go for it. If you host parties and want party games, fucking go for it. If you're a Let's Player, group or solo, go for it. This is a good game, and because it's on PlayStation Now, it is widely available. I mean, you get PlayStation Now, you've got like 100, 200 something free games. This is one of them. So you're not even paying $10 a month just for this. You're getting a whole library of games. And again, this is one of them. And because it's a download, you can download it to the system and then do the PlayStation record if you don't have a capture card. I did that for the better footage. And it's a wild game. It's monstrously stupid in a good way, and I say that as a recommendation. I did talk a little shit about the first game, but I also talked it up quite a bit. And I'm just gushing over this one because it really deserves it. There's a lot of fun stuff in this, and there's so many play modes. There's the challenge mode, there's the practice mode, there's the actual campaign. Online. There's an online mode. I don't necessarily recommend it, partly because I wasn't well versed in the game and ended up dragging the whole fucking team down. But the online mode, you play the challenge maps with people, and I don't know if the game supports voice, but if it doesn't, things are going to go to hell quickly. But if you've got a bunch of friends and you're all in different states, and you all have the PS4 or the Xbox or the fucking Switch or whatever, hop on Discord, fire up these games, go online, and fucking cook. You know? This is a blast of a game. I cannot recommend it strongly enough. It's not going to be some world-ending, life-changing game. It's not going to be the next big Final Fantasy. It's not going to be the Star Wars game we've waited 2 decades for. It's not going to be fucking Ancestors. It's not going to be Shantae. It's just... And yes, I am just reading off the games on my fucking menu screen. But it's just a fun, dumb little game you can play by yourself or with your friends. And as I mentioned in Overcooked 1, I will be trying to talk my friend into doing a playthrough of this with me so that you can see what it looks like when you have 2 humans, or in our case, 2 almost humans, cooperating together, or trying to. But, so yeah, Kyric's glowing endorsement of Overcooked 2. I hope you enjoyed this. See you next time. Bye-bye, everybody.